Dionisio at the plate. He's 0 for 2 today. Swakowski, the big right-hander, lets it go. It's right down Broadway. Dionisio lets it fly, and it's raining now.
It's time for Rain Delay Theater with Jeremy Dionisio and Jack Swakowski.
Go.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Rain Delay Theater, the podcast where two bums talk about other bums at baseball games. I'm Jack Swakowski.
And I'm Jeremy Dionisio.
And we're right in the middle of recording this right in the middle of Game 3 of the World Series. The Dodgers and Blue Jays are currently tied at 1 game apiece. Series has moved back to Los Angeles. And as promised, this week we are going to be ranking the Dodgers roster from least hated to most hated. So we're going to build up the drama a little bit on that. Jeremy, this time of year, it feels like you're always watching the Dodgers. To the point where you hear their game day experience, like their organ, their public address announcer. You just become so familiar with it and with their players that I feel like a list like this was inevitable.
Yeah, for sure. I think and just to play along with Dave Roberts saying that that the Dodgers are ruining baseball. I think I don't know, Jack. I know you have a reverence for the like classic baseball side of things, like
sure.
And I know you appreciate when like the classic like kind of stalwarts do well in the in baseball and stuff, and I do to an extent as well. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Do you have any interest? Are you rooting at all for the Dodgers? Or are you rooting for the Blue Jays here, or
Jeremy, I could honestly say that I could care less about this World Series.
Yeah, sure.
I think, and part of that is just because the Brewers got so close.
Yeah.
And when I feel like when your team gets super close like that, once they get knocked out, you just sort of, your interest kind of fades in it. At least that's what happens for me. It happens all the time in the NCAA tournament, too. Every year when Marquette gets knocked out, it's a little bit hard to watch those games the next day or two. It was easier for me last year when the Brewers lost in the wild card round. And so I was like, all right, whatever. And then the World Series rolled around, and it was Yankees-Dodgers, and I was actually excited for it. But this one, and I know the Cubs were in the playoffs this year, too. But this one, I'm just having a hard time feeling like I'm interested in it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, honestly, I feel like it takes at least a series to kind of cleanse yourself of that. I wasn't super tuned into the NLCS this year for that reason. But the World Series, you kind of rally and kind of watch it, especially since these are the last games of the year for a long time. So I will say it was a bummer for me because I wanted the Mariners to win at some point, when the Cubs were eliminated. I wanted the Mariners to win, and they lost in such kind of a bummer fashion. That being said, though, we've texted about it. There's there's a good amount of guys on the Blue Jays to like. There's, even though the story wasn't as good as the Mariners, the Blue Jays story is still pretty good. So I have no problem rooting for the Blue Jays here, and then again, just maybe you're just rooting against the Dodgers, whoever is playing them. So there's that as well. But yeah, the whole route for going that direction is just I don't know anyone who's actually rooting for the Dodgers except for maybe a couple people I know who live in LA. So yeah, but it's just there's just so much to dislike about them and the team and the players, and that's why we're doing this episode. So
yeah, 100%. Well, Jeremy, should we just jump right into it? I guess we got a full roster of guys and maybe even some coaches.
Yeah, we do. There's a few guys. Maybe I'll sprinkle these in. There's a couple guys on the 40-man who are either injured or just not on the World Series roster, who are notable names that maybe we can kind of I can throw out there and just see where they would slot in somewhere. Maybe we could do that at the end, I guess. But
sure.
But yeah. So yeah, my most liked guy on the Dodgers is Teoscar Hernandez, Jack.
That's a good one, Jeremy. I thought you were going to go for the most obvious one, which is calling naming Babe Ruth the best player in the history of baseball. But
which we did
a
couple years ago.
So Jeremy Teoscar's up there for me too. He's a little bit higher on my list, but I don't think that first of all, he seems like a great teammate, but also he did sign as well.
Yeah, that might be why he topped my list. But
sure.
Yeah, where did you? I don't know if you have your guys' number, Jack, but
So oddly enough, Jeremy, because I said there's a group of guys who I kind of all grouped together. I'll just say this: he is my 5th least hated guy on the team. But I could also probably flip him with the 3rd guy too. But yeah, he's up there for me, and I did remember that he signed when he was with the Mariners.
Yep, right on. Okay, cool. That's good.
Yeah. My least hated guy, so it's an obvious one, but it's Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani. The reason for that, earlier this year when the Dodgers were in town at Wrigley Field, I paid $50 on a Tuesday night to go get upper deck seats just to watch him play. And I don't think there's a single other position player I would do that for. Maybe I would do it for a pitcher like Skeens, just because you got a 1 in 5 chance of seeing a starter. So it's like I need to see this guy if he's in my town and he's pitching. But for Ohtani, it's like I'll try to see him anytime he's in town. When all is said and done, I think it's going to be like watching Michael Jordan having played basketball, which I never did see live.
Right. Yeah, I agree, and he's my number 2 on my list, and he probably should be number 1, of course, but just for the sake of interest, I threw Teoscar in there, but yeah, Ohtani. I mean, I'm almost afraid to see him again. Oh, I mean, I guess I have seen him play on my own, but for the podcast, I'm hesitant for us to see him again because he's homered in all 3 games that we've seen him in.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd hate to break that record, but yeah, and plus the games are expensive. But it's certainly it's it's gonna be one of those guys who at some point you'll say I got to see him play and I got to see him hit a homer or do whatever he did. I still haven't seen him pitch yet.
Same.
Yeah, and it's a bummer because it looked like he was maybe gonna pitch that game I was at in Los Angeles. Which would have been really cool, and he ended up pitching the day after. But yeah, it was so that's still out there. Hopefully, we have the opportunity to do that at some point next year, and we get to see him pitch. Definitely would jump at that. But yeah, Ohtani, of course, yeah.
Heck yeah. Well, who was your next least hated guy?
Yeah, so my next least hated guy, I feel like now it should start getting a little interesting. But my next least hated is Anthony Banda.
Jeremy, he's right. He's up there on my list.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I don't know why. He's a lefty, right? And so there's that. I always like the lefties. I don't know. He came up with the D-backs. He was a prospect when I first got into card collecting, and he was the first guy that I noticed how much Topps and and Panini get these rookies, these prospects to sign autographs, and he was the first guy who I realized just how many cards these guys probably sign as rookies.
Yeah.
He probably signed no joke probably 10,000 autographs.
Jeez.
Just spread across all the products of his rookie year, just thousands and thousands of cards signed, inserted into packs. He was the kind of guy who you'd open up a box and be like, damn it, I pulled an Anthony Banda. So I managed to get a couple of his, and but I was fresh into collecting at the time, so I was like, okay, this is pretty cool, and so that's why I got a special place for him.
Yeah, Jeremy, didn't you say that Banda signed? I don't know if it was at spring training or at the Dodgers bus, but he was or people were saying that he was the only guy who signed.
Yeah, I believe that's correct. Yeah, people were saying Banda was the only guy I got or whatever. So
yeah, so that was why he was up there on my list. He's my 3rd least hated.
There you go.
Just because it seems like he's a nice guy. My 2nd least right now, maybe this is just recency bias, but I put Yoshi Yamamoto on there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And so the reason for that is that the guy's thrown 2 complete games in the postseason here, one in the NLCS and the one last night. or 2 nights ago, whatever. And I don't think anybody was expecting like anybody to throw a complete game in the World Series, but this guy is like he's another guy. Like, so we're talking about people you would go specifically to see pitch. I mentioned Skeens. I think next year, like, this would be another guy, right? He had a ton of fanfare when he came over, a ton of hype, but he's been hurt during the regular season his first 2 years. But I feel like in the playoffs now he's really coming onto the scene, and it's cool to see what he's doing, because the guy's ridiculous.
Did you see how he, like, there was a thing, he like cleaned up the dugout after he got done with press yesterday?
No, I didn't see that
on Saturday. Like, he came in, he got the complete game. He did some interviews on the field, and then like he was taking his stuff out of the dugout, and he like picked up like 4 like empty water bottles and like took them with to like throw out or whatever.
Jeez, what a mensch.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I like him too. He's 8th on my list.
Okay.
Of lead, like, from most liked to yeah. So yeah, definitely I like him. He's on my fantasy team. I like keep like dynasty league. So yeah, he's a guy who I'm hoping will be really lights out on a consistent basis going forward, because I'm gonna have him on my team. So definitely I do like him. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got to stay healthy, but yeah.
Totally.
Jeremy, who's the next guy? My next guy after that was Banda.
Okay.
So who's your next least hated guy?
So I'm into like my fourth from the bottom.
Yep.
I have Tyler Glass now.
Oh, so did I.
Okay.
We got a match.
Nice. All right. Very nice. Yeah. Again, another guy who signs.
Yep.
I think I guess he was with the Rays there, but he started with the Pirates, and I feel like I don't know. I mean, I guess there's some about him that I just like, I guess. Like, sometimes I resent the guys who go from like the bad team to the good team, but like, it's like the best thing that ever happened to Glass now is that he left the Pirates. But yeah, he's a good pitcher, and seems like a good enough guy, so.
Yeah, I was a little on the fence when I was thinking about him, but then I remembered, he was really nice. He signed for us. So that gives him, you hate to say it, because it's like I don't want to let that influence everything, but
right.
It means a lot when the guy's nice. So he gets a lot of credit for that.
I know. At some point, we're just sounding like Dennis, just whether or not they sign or not. But
right.
But yeah. So okay. So yeah, Glass now. I had there number 4 on my list.
Nice. Yeah, he was number 4 for me too, and then for me, Teoscar was number 5.
Okay.
Yeah. Who was your 5th guy?
My 5th guy, Jack, is Justin Dean.
Okay, but tell me more about this.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen like he seems kind of like the guy who like belongs the least on the roster of like superstars, all-stars, I guess 9-figure salary athletes.
Yep.
Justin Dean is like, how did this guy get in here? And like good for him that he's riding the coattails of all these like titans of baseball to like a potential World Series ring. I don't really know much about him, where he came up, where he was drafted, but like I know that they called him up late in the year, and he's pretty much like a defensive replacement playing center field. He's made some good catches out in center field, and especially in these World Series games. And I saw like an interview with him, and he seemed like a nice guy. He kind of gave me the vibe, the Nasim Nunez kind of vibe. So,
okay.
So yeah, I kind of like his general demeanor.
Yeah, nice. And hey, he's just one letter away from being Austin Dean. So that's another thing. Austin Dean, that's a deep cut, but yeah, there you go. So yeah, it is always fun, when those, kind of lesser known guys are on the team, especially, you put him next to Ohtani. So yeah, that's a good call. He was one of the guys, Jeremy, that I grouped together that I just didn't really know about or have an opinion on. So
yeah,
I like that one. My next least hated is Mookie Betts.
Okay.
It's just he's kind of just a hard guy to hate. Like I don't really have anything bad to say about him. He's a great player. He'll seems like a team guy. He'll do anything for the team. He'll play outfield. He'll play shortstop if he has to, second base. Good hitter. And just seems like not not a jerk. So I'm down with him. There was some drama in the World Series or playoffs last year or something, and I feel like he it was against him and the Dodgers, but he kind of shot it down in the media. I can't remember what it was now.
Yeah, right.
Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Last year during the World Series?
It was either during the World Series or the playoffs. There was something where he was just it's not a big deal or whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
How was that?
No, it's sounding familiar. I'm at a loss as well, but I do remember that as well somehow.
Might have been in the NLCS. Who did the Dodgers play in the NLCS?
Was it the D-backs or the Phillies? I can't remember if it was one of those.
Yeah,
two.
I don't know. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about right now. But anyway, Mookie Betts is next on the list for me.
Yeah, I don't think I realized this until you're already into it, but he was next on my list as well, Mookie Betts.
Oh, okay.
So
nice.
Yeah, I think now that's a guy who I liked as a Red Sox, resented that he went to the Dodgers, but he was traded there. He wasn't right. He didn't sign there, right?
Yeah, he was traded by the Red Sox because they were just never gonna re-sign him to an extension, and yeah. I feel like Boston fans are justifiably still apoplectic about that because it's like when you have a player like Mookie Betts, you don't just trade him, especially not to the Dodgers,
right?
So that was just a fail, and of course now they don't have Devers either. Jeremy, you know what it was? Two words: Anthony Capobianco.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he handled that. That guy tried to rip his arm off, and he handled it with pure class. When I probably would have wanted to freaking rip that guy's that piece of shit's head off.
Yeah.
Mookie Betts was just cool. I mean, he wasn't cool about it, but he handled it with class.
Took the high road. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's right. I remember that. Yeah, no. I there's really nothing to dislike about the guy. He seems like a cool guy. Again, in interview, there are these guys on. They're probably on TikTok, but I see them on Facebook. It's these two younger guys who somehow get to interview baseball players on the field, and they ask them one of the things they ask them is their the lineup, if they can name the lineup from their major league debut. It's kind of fun to hear those guys try to remember the guys, and then they ask them about walk-up music and stuff, and Mookie Betts was cool in that interview or whatever, so I thought that was cool. Yeah, he also is a good bowler too. That's kind of an interesting fun fact about him.
Yeah, I think he was the Tennessee Bowler of the Year. Or
is that
something,
what it is? Okay.
The Youth Bowler. Yeah. So, he's good. I think he's bowled some 300 games. Good on Mookie Betts. Who's your next guy?
Okay, I'm up to my seventh best, seventh most liked. Jack, this is a guy, I don't know if you put him in on your list. I kind of mentioned that I was going to include these guys late. I told you late that I was going to include some staff as well.
Yeah.
So what did I say, seventh? My seventh favorite is Danny Lehman.
Okay, I was gonna say, I wonder if it's gonna be Danny Lehman. Yeah, what do you like about him?
I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say, really. I think just maybe it's also just because he's a guy who you don't really know where he came from or what his background is, why he's the bench coach of the Los Angeles Dodgers. I maybe him. I don't even I think he's much younger than Dave Roberts, so it's not they came up together. I really don't know how he got. I don't know much about him. I don't know how he became the bench coach for the Dodgers, but I think it's cool. They even mentioned his name in a couple coaching vacancies this year, managerial vacancies. So
they did.
Yeah, it would be weird for him to leave the Dodgers, but maybe we would learn more about him if he did.
Yeah, Jeremy, I agree that there's a certain je ne sais quoi about the guy. Sure, I mean, he looks like a surfer or a rock climber or a male yoga teacher. He doesn't look like a baseball guy at all.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. That's part of it, I think. It's he seems like a California guy, but I don't know if he, just because he's the bench coach doesn't mean he is born and raised in LA. But yeah, you're right. He's hanging out on Venice Beach or something.
Yeah. That's a good one, Jeremy. We got to get a custom of that
Yes.
made of that guy because it would be really cool to get him. And I heard his name in some rumblings too.
It would be cool. Real quick before just one more
Yeah.
thing about Danny Lehman. This is the extent of what the research I did on him. The director of the movie Heathers, with Christian Slater and Winona Ryder, his name is Michael Lehman. And
Okay.
I was like, maybe they're related somehow, because like I do just picture just like Danny Lehman grew up like in like Malibu or something, or like in LA or like, Beverly Hills or something. So I'm like, maybe he like has like a movie, like a family film background. But as far as I could tell, there's no relation between the two.
I think this came up the last time we talked about Danny Lehman, but I went to school with a guy named Steve. He pronounced it Lehman, but Steve
okay.
Lehman, spelled the same as Danny Lehman. So,
Okay, there you go.
maybe they're related too. I don't know. Okay, Jeremy, my seventh guy, because I'm on 7 from the bottom here, top or whatever, is Freddie Freeman.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, another hard guy to hate like Mookie Betts. I don't really have anything against Freddie Freeman. He's been a really good player for a long time. I think he somehow got caught up in this whole Bryce Harper and Dave Dombrowski, like tiff or like a riff in the media. Just with Dombrowski saying Harper is like maybe no longer an elite player, and then he's like, well, like Freddie Freeman is really good. He could still be like Freddie Freeman. Like the guy's friggin' average is almost 300 for his career. So, you can't argue with that. The guy's just a good player.
Okay, yeah, that's fair, Jack. I think this might be. I don't know. I'm not sure where you have Danny Lehman, but this might be our discrepancy, because I have Freddie Freeman as my 9th most hated Dodger.
Oh, okay.
And I don't really have a reason why. He is a guy who I like, even though all reports are that he was like crushed leaving the Braves. He wanted to stay with the Braves, but somehow the Braves just wouldn't like pony up the money for him. So it's not his fault. But he's a guy who I'm like, that guy left the Braves, went to the Dodgers, and like just kind of continued to excel.
Sure.
He hit that huge home run, the grand slam last year, I believe. So that was a pretty big moment. I mean, and he was also very cool about like when Rizzo struck him out too. Like he wasn't like a dick about it. So like I don't know. I do. It's funny. I do like. I don't dislike Freddie Freeman, but somehow he ended up 9th on my list.
He also that home run was off Nasty Nestor too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and then there was the whole thing where Rizzo was chasing him down, and Rizzo was like, Frederick. I don't know if you remember that.
I do. Yeah. So I don't know. There is a thing about there was that thing when he was in the with the Braves where he got stranded in that like ice storm in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And Chipper Jones had to go rescue him on his like 4-wheeler. So that's not a great look. So that's some fodder for putting him down on the list, I guess. But
sure.
Anyone who got stranded and anyone who got messed up by an ice storm in Atlanta, I would put on my like list of least favorite people, because it's like, come on, like, as a Chicagoan, that's inexcusable. But yeah, so I don't know. I just made my list and he ended up 9th most hated. So I can't explain it further than that. Just how I feel.
My next guy up here is and this is where like the list gets a little murky until it starts getting into guys that I don't like, is Ben Rortvedt.
Okay, nice. Yeah,
good name, and I remember we saw him, like he was the backup catcher for the Twins or something, right when he came up. I think it was the Twins, I can't remember, and we're like, who's this guy with like this weird name?
Yeah,
and now he's on the Dodgers. Yeah,
exactly, and I think he started that game that I went to in LA actually.
Okay,
Jack, I have him. It's interesting you mentioned the weird name, because I have him as my 12th. Number 12 from the. So okay, let me just say this. Like I made my list like most hated to least hated, so I have it numbered most to least hated. So number 12 on my list, which is the 12th most hated, I have Ben Rortvedt, and I think it's because of his last name. It's like I still don't know properly how to pronounce it, and I'm the kind of guy who likes to know exactly how to pronounce names, and I still don't really know how to pronounce it, and I think for that reason it annoys me. So I mean, he's kind of towards the middle, but he's on the lower side of the list. So
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Also, didn't you say Chucky Robinson started that game you went to? the
oh,
catcher?
that's right, he did. I gotta find my box score because I swear maybe he came in late or something. I could have swore he
Okay.
got into that game.
Nice. Cool. Well, who's your next guy?
Yeah, so I think let's see. So I think Lehman was 7, Yamamoto was 8. Emmett Sheehan is my next guy, number
Okay.
9, I guess. And
Tell me more about that.
yeah, again, I mean, he seems like I don't know. He seems like a nice guy. I don't know. I've got it's funny because right here in kind of the middle is where I have most of these guys who I don't really have much of opinion on. Yeah, like of the big batch of guys who I don't really know very well or have like a strong opinion on, he seems like the coolest of the guys, I guess. I don't know, something about his look or like the fact that he's done pretty well in like long relief for the Dodgers in the playoffs. So maybe that's it. Like I like his versatility. I always like the pitchers, like the guys who pitch long relief, I think are like sometimes the most overlooked guys on the rosters. Them and like backup catchers. So there's something about that I like, I guess.
Yeah, nice. That makes sense. Jeremy, I might as well just name all of the guys that I don't have much of an opinion on, and
Okay.
you can just let me know if
Yeah.
something rings a
Yeah,
bell.
we can rapid fire these guys if you want.
Yeah, sure. Like Jack Dreyer.
Number 21. He's right above Sheehan in terms of like I liked.
Okay, Edgardo Enriquez.
Yeah, I put him smack dab in the middle.
Okay. Will Klein.
Will Klein, I put number 18 most hated.
All right, Justin Robleski.
Robleski, I have 14 least hated. He's actually pitching in this game right now, and I don't like the way he looks. He's got a little he kind of almost looks like Enrique Hernandez. So I almost want to bump him up the list a little bit, but I got him at 14, just above Enriquez.
Nice. So there were a couple other guys. Alex Call. I know who he is. I know he was on like the Nats last year, but I don't have much to say about him.
No. I know that he signs his autograph with a Bible verse, which like sometimes is like sometimes it's cool when you get it in person because it's like he's adding more to it than that, but I don't know. That doesn't really swing the pendulum for me strongly in any way, so that's the only thing I know about Call, really. He was a guy, like the Dodgers actually traded for him, and I was like, when I saw that they got him at the deadline, I was like, what is it about this guy that the Dodgers wanted? I still don't really know either.
Interesting. Who knows? Okay, there's one other guy here, and I had heard this guy's name a lot, but and then there's two other kind of everyday guys that I don't have much to say about, but we can get to them next. But Haesung Kim, did he only bat one time this year? Is that what it says on his career stats? Like, it can't be postseason, right?
I think that's his. If you're looking at MLB, they might have reset that to postseason.
Okay, I think they did, because I was like, I've been hearing this guy's name all year, but okay, yeah. Anyway, I don't have a ton to say about him at this point.
Yeah, he had. I'm looking right now. He had 161 at bats. 3 homers, hit 280. Yeah, he's a guy who, like, I think it's weird now. Like, whenever guys come over from like Japan or Korea or wherever, like there's the big names, and like now I feel like you would hear about every guy who like got posted, and now it's like there's guys who you just don't really hear about. Like, as a Cubs guy, Midwestern guy, whatever, I didn't hear anything about Haesung Kim, and it seemed like he was kind of like a name. I think he got into one of those spring training games I was at, and it seemed like a big people there seemed like like excited to see him, but like I hadn't even like heard that he got posted, so I didn't really know much about him. I do think he's like has good contact ability, so I always like that. But I have him 19. So that's like, let's see, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, I think. 12th most liked.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Well, so now there's two position players who are a little bit more prominent, who I don't have a ton to say about, but they are just there. Andy Pages, I don't know, where does he rank for you?
Pages I had 11th most hated.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of right around where I had him too. I mean, I had actually mixed him in with those guys that I don't have much of an opinion on. I mean, do you have strong feelings on Pages?
No, he's got a face that makes him look like he's not very friendly. But there's no like concrete evidence, to that opinion. I think he is a guy like I think I had some of his like autographs, like prospect autographs, and like he did kind of come on initially like kind of with a little bit of a flourish. And I remember signing him to my fantasy team, and then I feel like he cooled off very quickly after that. So I didn't get a chance to really. I didn't get to get the James Out. Is that his name? James Outman.
Yep.
Who's nowhere any mention of his name
for
this list.
I think he played in the Twins game that I went to in Philadelphia.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that was what a windfall that James Outman like week was. Man, I think I made like $300 off of him.
That's insane.
Yeah, pretty awesome. Yeah, so he kind of like had like images of maybe doing that and then not really doing that. So maybe that's how he ended up on the upper part of the list for me.
Okay. Yeah, very good. My last guy here before we kind of get to the meat of the guys that I feel like I don't like is Will Smith. He's a guy who I feel like I should have an opinion on, just because he's he's not one of the more famous players on the Dodgers, but he is he's always there. I don't have a ton on the guy except just to say that there's too many, or at least there were too many Will Smiths in the league.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that right there is annoying.
Yep.
That there's multiple Will Smiths. I have him as my 8th most hated. I do not like Will Smith. There's something about his face I don't like. He looks kind of like a snotty like friend of your brother who like fucked with you or something, and it's like, who the hell are you to mess with me? It's like only my brother can do that. But he reminds me of what was his name? The little toady from A Christmas Story. Not Scott Farkus or Scut Farkus, but his little henchman buddy guy.
No, I don't remember. I haven't seen that movie. I've only seen that movie like one time.
I think his name is Grover Dill or something like that, which like I think, let me look this up really quick. Yeah. So here, I'll give you a reason to not like Will Smith, Jack. If you look at, I think it's the 2023 Topps Heritage cards, where it says their names, it says their middle name on the back. Will Smith's name is Will Dills Smith. Dills. Will Dills Smith.
That's ridiculous. I can't believe I never noticed that before.
Yeah, totally. Actually, it would be funny, like, sometimes people get players like full name signatures. Yeah, I would like to get like him to sign Will Dills Smith, but it's like you see that and you're like, all right, fuck this guy. I'm done with him. So,
oh man,
yeah. But
that's
then
funny.
It's interesting that he looks like Grover. His name is Grover Dill. That's the toady to Scut Farkus from A Christmas Story, and his middle name is Dills. Maybe I'm just making that connection in my head, but yeah, I do not like Will Smith.
Okay, well that's good enough reason there than with the middle name alone. Okay, cool. So now we're in actually that's a good. You go ahead.
Real quick, Jack. I think these two guys maybe. So I was saying to Jack before this, I made this list during the NLCS. I think these two guys must not be on the World Series roster. Alex Vesia and Ben Kasparius.
Yep.
I had them right in the middle, so there's nothing really to say about them. I had Kasparius as my 14th most liked, and Vesia is my 15th most liked. So just for the record.
Yeah, Vesia is a lefty. I mean, he seems pretty good. I'm not sure. At least he in the regular season he has been.
We saw him
last year.
We saw him. I almost want to say in 2018. We saw the Marlins a lot, but we saw Vesia with the Marlins like early on in his career.
Oh, that's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. One question I had for you, Jeremy, before we move on. So Craig Albornoz was hired today by the Baltimore Orioles. They said he managed in bowl. Yeah, they said he managed in Bowling Green. He wasn't the manager when we saw Wander Franco, was he?
I'd have to look that up. That name always stood out to me. Because was he on the Guardians staff?
He was. He was the bench coach this year. The associate manager was what they called him. But yes.
Okay. Yeah, because I even thought that he was with the South Bend Cubs, so maybe he was the manager in that game. Like, there's some reason why I feel like I know that guy for some reason, or maybe he managed the the All-Star game, when I was there. Like, there's some reason why I associated him with like the minor leagues. So that's interesting, and I had not heard that, so that's interesting. He's probably got some minor league cards out there, but maybe also a candidate for a custom card.
Yeah, right on. Something to look up a little bit later. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna do a guy I don't like here now. So this is my 8th most hated, but it's Roki Sasaki.
Okay, yeah, I have him on the most liked side, number 11 on the most liked. 20,
okay.
Yeah, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, I just had like a problem with the guy's whole recruitment. When they were trying to, all these different teams were trying to court him. I feel like it was just a foregone conclusion that the guy was going to go to the Dodgers anyway.
Yes.
But I don't know if how much you read about the recruiting process, but, he would go into with his people, like, to meet with teams, and then he would ask the teams, like, well, I think he would give them, like, iPads and stuff, and he would say to them, like, all right, how would you make me better? Like, tell me how you would make me a better pitcher. What would you do? Like, what would the exercises be, or what kind of pitches would I throw, et cetera? Mm-hmm. And, like, some teams are kind of pissed about that because they were like, well, like, that's kind of proprietary. Like, we're not gonna tell you how we think you can get better unless you're actually, like, signed with us. But that was what he was asking of teams, apparently. I know that I think the Cubs had a meeting with him, and I guess they didn't land him. So just a whole weird recruiting process with him, where it's like, dude, you've never thrown a pitch in the major leagues. Like, you maybe need to cool your jets a little bit in terms of how great you seem like you think you are.
Yeah, that's a bad look, and right, because I feel like that happened with Ohtani, but that was when. I think they courted him when he first signed as well, but he also had a pretty good track record, I would say.
He did.
And he was a two-way player then, and he was coming in as a two-way player. I think they also, I think there was a big process when he, was a free agent as well. But just like Sasaki's like a younger guy, coming over, so the whole thing does seem like very like it's like some kind of like king coming to town, and like, how will you impress the king or something.
Right.
Yeah, that could be definitely frustrating or annoying. And I remember we were at the Cubs convention, I think, when the news broke that he was going to the Dodgers, and like all the Cubs fans were like mad, and like, of course, the Dodgers are signing him. I think they even asked one of the players too or something.
They did?
Yeah. So I don't that part is annoying. He also kind of looks like a ventriloquist dummy. Which is not, that's a reason to put him lower on the list. I will say that, like, I was kind of like a little bit captivated by his like success at such an early age, in the MPB. So I was excited about him. While we're on this topic, another guy who just got posted, who I've had my eye on for a couple years, Murakami. I think it's Masataka Murakami. He's going to get posted. He's a third baseman, power hitter. I'm excited to see him. Apparently he had like a down year this year in NPB, but That's another guy who's like still young. I think he's like 26 maybe or something. So I'm kind of excited to see what he does. I don't know what the teams are gonna have to do to court him, but
Right.
you know, like that's a whole other story. Like bring in like a I don't know, like a thoroughbred horse with a a golden crown or something, like just to cater to his wiles. But yeah, I was just like, I was kind of like, he was a guy who was on my radar for a while, so maybe I have a little bit of softer spot for him, even though he did go to the friggin' Dodgers and screw that. But yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Nice. That's that's good. Well, who's another guy that you don't like?
Well, Jack, next guy on my list, going from like most liked to most hated, or least hated to most hated. So number 10 most hated, I have Dave Roberts.
Okay. Yeah. I like that one, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Tell me more about it.
I've tried to, like, if you asked me this question in 2017, he probably would have been number one.
Yep.
I've tried to like soften on him a little bit over the years. I kind of appreciate some of the statements he's made just about like social issues and whatnot. He is, I forget about this, but like he's like half, I don't know if he's half Asian, like maybe Japanese. So he's technically, I think he's like technically the first like Asian World Series winning manager, which like, it's, it's kind of weird because that doesn't spring to you first thing, like when you think of Dave Roberts, but
Sure.
for those reasons, like I kind of like him. He's kind of earned some points. He's climbed the chart a little bit for me, but I still do not like him. So yeah, the Dave Roberts thing has been like a long standing dislike of him. So I've just tried to like, I've gotten like Dave Roberts hate fatigue. So maybe that's why he's like kind of gone. He's kind of shifted up on the list a little bit.
Sure. And I think he took Clayton Kershaw out of a perfect game. So there's
right.
that. There's that too. No, that's a good one. And he seems like he's the job is his to keep in LA too now with all the success they've had. So
Yeah.
he'll be around for a while, and he doesn't sign either. So,
No.
Yeah. Okay, this is my seventh guy from the top here in terms of most hated, but Tommy Edman.
Okay. He was my number 5.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, just the Cardinals aspect of that is probably going to get him bumped up on the list. But I feel like at the beginning of the year, the Dodgers traded for this guy last year, and then all of a sudden, for the first month or two of this year, he was hitting homers. And it's like, why is this guy hitting so many home runs? Like, why does this guy get to be on the Dodgers now, and like people are gonna think that he's good, or like why is he the next Chris Taylor? And I'll also remember at the bus at the Cards, one time, like the guy was just sitting there talking to like two guys that he knew, or he was standing there right next to us.
Yeah.
And we asked him for an autograph, and he just completely snubbed us.
Yeah, for sure. And do you remember what he had with him? He was one of those backpack guys. He had some kind of like lame ass like leather like Gucci backpack or something, and it's like,
I do.
Yeah, and it was just like, dude, you suck, man. Just get out of here. Like, either sign my autograph or get the hell out of my face with that lame ass backpack of yours.
Yeah. I mean, Jesus Christ, man. That was like, what's that Gucci movie where they're like, oh, this is not Gucci? Adam Driver. Is that Adam Driver?
Yeah, House of Gucci, I guess, right?
Oof. Yeah, that was a rough one.
Yeah. I just like, man, and like, that's just the word. He might as well carry a purse at that point, and it's like,
for sure.
And that's not even like a gender thing. It's just like, dude, like, just bring a purse around, like a Gucci backpack or some kind of like fine leather backpack. It's like, get out of here, man. Like, a backpack should be made out of like, whatever that material is, like neoprene or whatever that material is, and it should be like a JanSport, and it should like have like patches or like the zippers with the little things on them to pull. Like, a backpack shouldn't be made out of friggin' leather or whatever the hell it was made out of. Like, get out of here with that.
No, that's a great call, Jeremy. So yeah, good to hear that he's high up on your list as well, because he is on mine.
during, like, I know, like, everyone's talking about, like, preemptively talking about, like, the potential lockout post 2016. And like it always comes up about like how much players make. The owner side should be talking about like, hey, do you see what these players are walking around with? Like these like designer backpacks. It's like they're making too much money. Like we need to cut back because they don't need this kind of lavish accessory lifestyle. So anyway.
Him and Gene Segura are gonna get outed.
Exactly. He was another one. He was number 5 on my list for sure.
Okay.
Number 7 on my list, Jack, is Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah, that's a good call, Jeremy. He's number 5 on my list.
Okay, so we had those two flip-flopped, basically.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, so that was real close. So what is it about Kershaw?
I mean, just things that he's done in the last couple years of his career that I don't agree with, and like it seems like he's been vocal about these things without kind of like I've read his exact quotes about some of these things, and like at least he like has said these things like with a little more what's the word? I don't know, like
diplomacy?
Yeah, maybe that's a good like a little more like not even perspective, but like even-handedness, I guess, in some way. But like I feel like he was single-handedly in charge of like getting like the Pride Night canceled or something, or getting that appearance canceled, and then like also
the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, I think their names were.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And then like, and also like as a reaction, getting like fucking God Night or whatever the fuck it was, there as well. So it's like so there's all that. Now and again, if you asked me this in 2017, he probably would have been at the top of my list. Cause like I always liked him. Again, lefty. He was on my fantasy team for years and years. He was year in and year out just one of the greats. There was all the playoff stuff that like people ragged him about, but I always liked the guy. He's a guy maybe who stuck around too long for me to like just start to dislike, but
yeah, Jeremy, I agree with you about all of the things that you just said about what he did, but also when he was good. But the thing is, like, the stuff that we're talking about here, he kind of skated by on it, I think. Yeah. So he was diplomatic about it, but also he did put that stuff out there into the universe, and people criticized him for it, but then they just sort of forgot about it, which doesn't happen with a lot of guys, but somehow he was just allowed to skate on all of these sort of, I don't know what you would call it, archaic, like, beliefs.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just wasn't good, and I think that he wins the Damian Miller Award for a guy who's just probably not any fun to hang out with. Like he seems like he's just a square, and he's just not really a very likable guy, and kind of vanilla too. Like when you hear his interviews. Yeah,
I heard him talking about like when he was giving that like retirement press conference or whatever, he's like, I'm gonna miss hanging out with the boys or whatever. And it's just like, all right, this is just a guy like, and I guess it it makes sense, but like he's a guy who like just is never like, all he knows is like baseball and like being in the clubhouse with guys, and like so he probably I'm sure he probably thinks like snapping a guy's ass with a towel is like the height of comedy or whatever. so I don't know. Maybe he shouldn't be blamed for that, but like, he just seems like he seems kind of like a bonehead, and I never really thought he was, but he definitely does seem like it.
Yeah, well, hey, just don't read about any of the stuff that Mike Trout did with Eric Kay.
Jesus, man.
For the Los Angeles, not good. Okay, who's your next guy here?
I also like, and don't ask him to talk about it because he'll start crying, I guess, or he'll get emotional.
Oh, Trout?
Yeah,
right. Like, was he crying because he made Eric Kay eat one of his back pimples?
Which
I think is what. Yeah, just gross stuff.
It's so like hard to even like say.
It is. Yeah, I was eating when I read that article, and I had to stop for a second.
Yeah.
God. Yeah, not good.
That's bad. Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. My sixth most hated is Blake Snell.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, let's hear about that.
Yeah, Jack, what? First of all, how old is Blake Snell? Is he like
I think
even
he's 32
30?
or 33.
Okay. So I was like questioning if he was even that old because I feel like he came into the league. I think he was fairly young when he came into the league, maybe, but yeah, like he looks fucking horrible.
He does.
Like looks he's like we never did like a Derek Turnbow like ugliest guy like in the league. I don't think, but like Blake Snell is just like he looks fucking gross and horrible. Like we were texting me and my friends were texting and I said Blake Snell looks like a 50-year-old deadbeat dad from Southern Illinois.
Okay.
Maybe well, yeah, that I won't rescind any of that. I'll stand by all those statements. But yeah, just like he looks horrible, man. Just like his eye, like what his eyes like look like he like either doesn't sleep or like he smokes weed like nonstop. Like in the and he got lit up in game 1, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And like in the I think there was a thing where he posted during it might have been during game 7 of the ALCS while the Mariners and the Blue Jays were like battling it out. He posted on Instagram like he was looking for someone to like sell him or trade him like a playable character on NBA 2K or something. Like
Jesus.
His head is just completely up his ass about video games, and like I know he used to like do like that Twitch thing. He seems like a punk. He seems like a wannabe gangster guy, and just like I just don't know. I there's too much to say about the guy.
Yeah, first of all, Jeremy, that would be one heck of an episode for the off-season ugliest players.
I mean, yeah, like it's not very nice, but I mean, it would fit in with the podcast.
Sure would. So I'll just be honest here because we're talking about him. Blake Snell is my number 1 most hated Dodger.
Okay.
And I went back and forth between him and another guy, but
yeah.
First of all, so Blake Snell's nickname apparently is Snellzilla, which is not a good nickname at all.
No.
Like it's not creative. There's no ring to it. It's just like you're just taking Godzilla and putting Snell in there instead. It's not good or clever.
No.
But also, if you read on his Wikipedia page, it says that his brother was actually nicknamed Snellzilla, but then Blake Snell overtook that nickname when he was 11. And it's like, how do you overtake somebody's nickname? Like that's fucked up, man. What has to happen for you to get your brother's nickname? But also, like, if I had a nickname, I'd be pissed off if like some guy came in and was like, you know what, I like that nickname. It's mine now. It's like you can't do that. You can't do that with a nickname.
Yeah, right.
So that's messed up. But also, and this is more baseball related, but I don't know if you remember last year when he was with the Giants. He was supposed to start, maybe it was the last game of the year, but the Giants were out of contention, and he was going to opt out of his 2-year like the second year of his 2-year deal with the Giants and become a free agent again. And he just said that he didn't want to pitch. And it's like, well, come on, man. Like they paid you like $31 million or something to pitch for them, which is $1 million to start if you would have made every one of them, and you're just gonna like tell them to piss off and you're still gonna take their money. Like that sucks, man. I understand why he didn't want to pitch because he didn't want to get hurt before he was a free agent, but come on, man. Like what kind of could you imagine him pulling that kind of crap in like the 70s or 80s? No way.
Yeah, or like even like if Goose Gossage got word of that, he would have just like totally tore his ass apart like nowadays.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, he's a punk. Yeah, I don't know. He has a very decorated career. But
yes.
But like, yeah, the nickname thing, that makes me question like his parents, because I assume like maybe they're the ones who were like kind of like transferred the nickname over.
Sure.
That is a really funny tidbit, though. I'm glad that you were able to like catch that or find that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. He's just icky kind of guy, I guess.
He is. And also I read that, like he trained at his dad's baseball facility when he was a kid.
No.
So it's like, this is another guy who's never done anything but baseball.
Yeah. Okay, well, that makes more sense, too, then. It's like they were probably at the training facility, and the dad's like, all right, well, you're no longer Snellzilla. He's Snellzilla. It's like, because he can throw harder than you or something, so.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Okay. Who do you have next on the list here? Because we're getting up there now.
We are, and there's some really good ones here. So, all right, my number 4 was Max Muncy.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one. He was my number 3.
Okay. Yeah, at this point, we're just, it's all just a matter of, like, flip the, like, shuffle the cards.
Yeah,
but,
personal taste. Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, yeah, I just don't like the guy. We've ripped on him plenty. I don't know if it's been on the podcast or just privately, but, like, he's definitely, like, I think you said it. He's, like, the kind of guy who, like, should be thinking it's Lucky Stars. He ended up on the Dodgers. Because he has no business being on, like, a winning team or a successful team, nor does he deserve it. He can't be taken down from the Dodgers. It's like, I thought maybe this year, and I don't know if he started all of this year, but, like, it seemed like maybe this was the year finally that someone else would, like, overtake him or something, but, like, no one has. And it's just super. It's just a head scratcher that this guy exists, basically, on the Dodgers.
It is, yeah. I mean, he should be on the Marlins or, like, the Rangers when they're not contending or something. But, like, for him to be on the Dodgers, I think he even gave an interview where he said, like, we're the evil empire. Like, everybody hates us.
Yeah, right.
You're not part of that, man. Like, nobody cares about you, dude. He's a terrible fielder.
Yeah.
He doesn't hit for any average. And yeah, like you said, I thought he almost got cut this year. I think what happened was he might have had I don't know if it was a cataract or astigmatism, but, like, he got glasses. I think that's why you see him wear glasses now. But, like, that really helped out his hitting. Like, I think he was having some vision problems. But to say nothing of all that, he is the guy who single-handedly seemed to make graphing more difficult this year. If he would not have overreacted to that crazy guy yelling at him, who knows how the rest of this year would have played out as far as that barricade goes.
Yeah, fucking staring the guy down from the safety of a bus.
And with multiple, like, security guards in front of you.
Yeah, exactly. And just, like, giving, like, the look like, what the hell are you going to do? Like, he's a baseball player, but that crazy guy probably would have kicked his ass because he's like, he doesn't seem like he's in very great shape. So, like, what did this guy want to do? Like, did he, like, was like he, like, Muncy probably would have yelled, like, bring it. I wish you would. I wish you just hit me or something, It's like, screw it. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Just, yeah, definitely. Just
that's a good call there. And now we're to quote this guy Matt Busalaki I knew in high school. We're really getting into the gritty here. But Blake Trinan is my next guy.
All right, Jack. Blake Trinan was my number 1.
Okay, yeah, and why not, right?
Yeah.
But, like, this guy just has the full menu of terrible tweets.
Yeah.
So I don't know that there's anything more to be said about that. But also, I think he's, like, number 1 on Dodgers fans' hate list too, because, like, he was blowing a ton of games at the end of the year.
Jack, he's currently blowing Game 3 for them right now.
Crazy.
The Blue Jays were up 4-1 or 4-2 at one point. 4-2, I think, and then they actually tied it up 4-4, and now Trinan is in the top of the 7th, and he's given up a run, and there's 2 more on base. So
yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good call, Jeremy. Was there anything that put him over the top for you?
No, I was just gonna say, like, Trinan is the most. I would say, like, if teams, or I mean, hell, we could do this, and maybe we even have done this, but, like, if we were to give away, like, laurels, or what are those called in high school when they give away those superlatives?
Superlatives?
Yeah, if they were giving away superlatives, he would be the most likely to ask his coach for a day off. If you know what I mean. And I would say he would be tied with that with Matt Shaw. But yeah, just to be oddly absent from the lineup that day,
Right. Yeah, it's shocking that he didn't, actually, but I don't know. Maybe But yeah, no, I agree, Jeremy. And yeah, there's just the whole smorgasbord of stuff with him.
Did you call it the full menu? Is that what you said?
Yeah. That
That should be his nickname,
That's,
the full menu.
Yeah, right, man. That's good. Okay, I think we just got a couple more players here, and it's funny that we both basically are the same on a lot of these, but Kike Hernandez was a real hated guy for me.
Yeah, Kike is number 3.
Okay.
And then we can just talk about these guys together. Rojas was number 2 for me.
Yeah, Rojas was number 2 for me as well. So it's
Okay.
interesting that we came down there. I guess Kike first. I never liked him very much. He's another guy like Muncy, where it's like, why is this guy still on the team? Why has he been on the team for 10 years?
Yeah.
And I thought that this would pretty much be the year that he was going to go, and it just doesn't seem like that. But all of that aside, that interview that he gave last year after they won the World Series, where he was like, "Are we live? Because we don't give a fuck." It was just dumb, man.
I had forgotten about that until like I was looking at one of our old the descriptions from one of our old episodes, and we talked about that, and it was like, we don't give a fuck, and it's like, okay, you fucking little child, like you just learn that fucking word, you fucking loser. I hate him so much.
Well, also, and it's the Dodgers. Like, I think in that offseason, they spent $1 billion in free agency. Like, nobody cares more than the Dodgers about winning a World Series. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, it's like the Rays should not get, they're the ones who get to say they don't give a fuck because they contend and they don't spend a lot of money. It's like the Dodgers spend so much money that that if they do anything short of the World Series, it's a failure. So it's like,
right,
they're the one. Yeah, they are the ones who give a fuck.
Yes, absolutely. And yeah, let's hear about Rojas. What you hated about him?
Yeah, I mean, classic, obvious stuff. Definitely a guy who should be thanking his lucky stars he's on this team. He was a guy who was actually on the Mariners and ended up through some kind of maybe used up all his karmic points for this lifetime and the next to get on the Dodgers. But the whole Jazz Chisholm stuff.
Yeah, me too. There's just that's Bud Norris for the 2020s. There's just no room for that anymore. It's just so outdated. And also Jazz Chisholm is good. Miguel Rojas, when all is said and done, and you look at those two guys' numbers when they're both retired, Miguel Rojas is not going to hold a candle to what Jazz Chisholm will have done. No. Jazz Chisholm has more talent in one finger than Miguel Rojas has in his whole body. It's this guy sucks, and he's an asshole on top of it. But I guess it's probably the guys who suck like that, like him or Bud Norris, who are usually the ones that are the biggest assholes about clubhouse dynamics or whatever.
Yeah, it always has to be. It's so frustrating. It almost makes you wish that Jordan Hicks had a better career.
Right.
So he could really. I still think he's had a better career than Bud Norris, but you kind of almost wish he would have just buried the memory of Bud Norris with his performance. But yeah, Jazz Chisholm has just taken off. I mean, he was already having a great career, but seems like he's just taken off like crazy on the Yankees.
Yep.
Just turned into a superstar. So, yeah, and it's you just look at it and you're like, seriously, this guy was hazing this guy? It's give me a freaking break, man. It's always the worst guys. It's always the guys who are the most, the biggest frauds, who are, giving the fucking talented guys a hard time. It's get out of here with that crap.
Yeah, no, it's terrible. And I think he may had some big emotional announcement where he said he's retiring after next year. It's does he really think he's going to get a farewell tour?
Ugh.
No, no way. Okay, is that it for the lists? I can't think of any other guys that we would have missed.
Yeah, that's it. I was looking. There are these ancillary guys. Honestly, some of them are not even worth really talking about. But I forgot that Michael Kopech isn't on their active roster. Where would you slot Michael Kopech in on your list, Jack?
Did he sign for us, Jeremy?
He did. He's a good signer across the board.
And, he is. And so then he's up there with Glasnow because he signed when he was with the White Sox. He stopped by when we were by the net. So he gets points for me. I feel bad for the guy because there were big expectations with him for the White Sox. Maybe he loses a few points for that crow hop, but like, you know,
I love
he
that.
the guy was on the White Sox. It's like that's a bad start already for you.
And didn't he have like a model girlfriend who like dumped him or something, and like he was depressed about it or something?
He did. Like I think she left him for another dude or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's had a rough first couple of years of his career.
Yeah, he's just a goofy guy. Like he has a goofy story. So yeah, that definitely puts him on the upper echelon. I would say I would slot him in. I'd slot him in between Emmett Sheehan and Yamamoto, I would say. somewhere up there, yeah.
No, that's good. And I think White Sox fans are more to blame for that crow hop than Garrett Crochet. It's like the guy's throwing 105 on a crow hop, and like White Sox fans didn't even take the crow hop into account. Like,
yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
That whole thing was stupid. But yeah, that's good. Yeah, Jeremy, any other last guys that you can think of?
Nah, none of these other guys are very exciting.
Okay.
You know, after the fireworks of the top of the most hated guys, so
right.
probably not worth mentioning. But yeah, I mean, the takeaway is that there's a lot of reasons to dislike the Dodgers or hate the Dodgers. So yeah, I hope that the Blue Jays can somehow pull this off. Although Shohei Ohtani just hit a game-tying homer. So
man, there you go. That's why he's number one on the list in our hearts, I guess.
Yeah.
So
we should probably end this recording so we can watch the end of this game because it's been pretty good and yeah, unfortunately we're recording during it, but yeah, there's a couple more innings here to see the end of this game.
Yeah. All right. Well, that sounds like a good reason as any to call it a night. So for Rain Delay Theater, I'm Jack Swakowski.
And I'm Jeremy Dionisio.
We'll see you next time.
Later.